Hello and welcome to Their Voice TV, where we believe every animal has the right to be counted as an individual. Thank you for watching. Today we're lucky to have a wonderful guest and friend, Dawn Marie. Are we going Piger or Croco?
Croco.
Croco. Dawn Marie Croco. Very good friend of mine for quite a number of years now.
Like three
years
at least.
Yeah,
Over
at least
3 years it's
yeah.
been.
The reason I invited her on the show is because I think her history with animals pretty much transcends a lot of different issues when it comes to animals and breeding and training and rescue, because she personally has done them all.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn Marie, I know the trainer per se.
Yes.
That's more of the person that I met when I got to know you. But the interesting thing about her, like I said, is she went from all the different stages. So what I would like to do is really start talking about like how you originally started with breeding dogs, because there's a lot of people out there in the animal world who, including myself, for a long time I was against, even though it's funny, my father used to breed Doberman Pinschers.
I remember.
Back in the 70s when that was the thing to do. And so I understand that issue. And I know a lot of people watching may not agree with it, but let's just break it down how, why, and where everything happened and why, you know, everything is now rescue, everything is pro rescue. But what made you start breeding?
Well, basically I got my first German Shepherd back in like 1999, and he died drop dead suddenly for no reason at 15 months old. And I was devastated, absolutely devastated. And I says, you know what? I am going to try to make a difference, because a lot of the breeders out there they're just breeding two dogs together. They're not like doing research on health and, you know, history, mental health mostly. And so basically that's why I started, was because my dog got he just died.
What was his name?
Wyatt. Totana Piper Hills Wyatt Earp. We have kennel
Say that
names.
one more time.
Totana Piper Hills Wyatt Earp. He was the W litter of that particular kennel.
It's pretty cool.
But yeah, he was a great dog, but I didn't want to have another dog drop dead like that. So I was like, let me learn about this breeding. So it just went from there, and I became a very responsible dog breeder.
Now, regular German Shepherds? Or?
Well, my first two German Shepherds were American, and they seemed to have some health issues. German bloodline dogs do too. But I did venture more into what we call the German show line Shepherd. They're more, you know, vibrant and prettier, so to speak. There's a standard that I breed to. Not a lot of people know these things. It's very important to learn about the breed of dog and what they're supposed to be: height, weight, mentally, physically, ear set, tail, you know. There's a lot involved. It's not simple.
No, it's not.
It's definitely not simple.
It's not, yeah. I mean, I understand why there's a lot of people that are against breeding, but I mean, the breeding, oh, here you have a great picture. You can take a look.
Yes, those are three dogs that are from the Netherlands.
From the Netherlands?
Yes, my foundation female, Katja van Jabora, that is her mother and her brother and sister.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's great.
From the Netherlands. And how long ago was that picture taken?
That was taken in, I'm going to say, probably 2004.
Wow. I like the jawline. Very strong, firm jaw.
Yes.
Huh. Okay, so you did the breeding for about how long?
Well, technically, I mean, some still consider me a breeder. I have not bred a litter since, it's been 4 years, I'd say. Yeah, it's been, actually time flies. But I did it from Wyatt died in 2000. So I started breeding. Oh gosh, that is Harley von Weimar. She was out of my H litter. It's important you go by, in Germany, I follow a higher standard of breeding. The German standard, we call it. And each litter, you go in order of the alphabet. And she was my H litter.
She was adorable.
She was cute. Her grandmother was the one in the Netherlands.
Okay. So now, at what point did you switch from breeding to actual training?
Well, what I did, I ended up having a feisty litter. And because with breeding, you really should, with German Shepherds, when I say breeding, I'm focusing basically on German Shepherds because that's what I was breeding. And German Shepherds, the #1 thing is temperament.
Okay.
And it's genetics. And a good dog can learn bad behaviors, a bad dog can learn good behaviors. So my B litter, we'll call it, had a little bit of an issue. And they're a little feisty. So right back, I think it was around 2005, because I'm showing the dogs too, like when you're breeding, you have to put titles on the dogs. You're not just, taking 2 dogs, but you want to make sure they're what we call breed worthy. And there's a dog sport called Schutzhund.
Okay.
And with Schutzhund, you have to prove good, clear temperament.
I think we have some pictures of different Schutzhund training. That's fascinating.
Yes, that's doing the bite work. Yep, that's the helper.
Now, it's very popular with the military and police canine.
Yeah, canine. It's similar. The dog sports tracking, obedience, and protection. Those
Tracking,
3
obedience,
phases. Tracking, you have the dog scenting, weird footsteps, things like that. They find 3 different articles, and they do obedience during that, and then the obedience routine. They have to be very clear, take commands, be calm, confident, and then the bite work is running and biting the sleeve, like that picture there.
Very interesting. How much time does it take, would you say, on average? I mean, I know every dog is different, but on average to do something like this.
See, like that Malinois, that dog right there probably learned at 8 weeks old.
Really?
Oh, yes. They start 8 weeks old. You start with like this toy here. This is something that we use, and you build what's called drive. And the drive is to teach the little puppy. You teach him with a rag, and then it goes onto the sleeve, like in that picture. So yeah, they can learn at 8 weeks old. I had a 12-week-old puppy, my Debbie. She would run, bite it at 12 weeks old, and hang on way up here.
That's cool.
From her,
How
what's
heavy
called prey
was-
drive.
how heavy was
Oh
she?
gosh, she was 14 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
It's high prey drive, and that's what they're bred to do. But a lot of people don't know that.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's great. And actually, like I critique this, the dog is supposed to have a full center grip
I could say
for
he's at an
confidence,
angle, right,
and it's
yeah.
not quite full, but it's also a bad picture. But a good, confident dog will bite full and hard. So
That's very cool. Now, we were lucky that you actually brought some toys.
yes, yes.
Some of it, I mean, not as crazy as that stuff, except for like this here.
Yes.
Which is called a
Jute roll.
excuse me?
Jute roll.
Jute roll. Okay, a jute roll.
It's a burlap canvas
Okay,
that the dogs, they bite that because it transfers over to the sleeve.
Okay, so now we have basically what
That's a
looks like
show
a
lead.
a
I
show
don't
lead.
use that for walking dogs. Dogs should not be out walking ahead of you, but we could maybe talk about that later. But that's a dog show lead. That's it's good leather, soft, and it's strong, and it goes with this over here when you're showing dogs in the show ring.
Okay, and then we have a
Martingale.
very popular Martingale, which we're always promoting this. Why is this good?
I like the Martingale because you have control, but yet it's not so harsh on the neck as the choke collar. And you use it for redirecting, kind of correct with it a little bit, but it's not too harsh. And it's so a dog can't slip out of it. Basically, that's
Very
one of the most
popular.
important things. Absolutely.
When would you say these actually started getting used?
Baby puppies, 8 weeks old. I
Okay.
put them on 8 weeks old.
And how much does something like this go for about?
Puppy one's $7, adult one's about $9-10.
That's not bad. Okay.
Yeah, no, you can get those
Then
relatively
now I
cheap.
noticed you have a leash, but much shorter.
That is for training in obedience when you want your dog to be close, because the focus needs to be on you,
Okay.
and it just keeps them closer.
Very nice, actually.
Yeah, it's actually a nice one. It's leather.
How much
all
does
good
something like
stuff.
this go for about?
That $26
Really?
at a dog
I would assume
show.
It's a little
Yeah.
bit more, but okay.
No, I got it at a good deal.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
yeah.
at a show,
That's
so
nice.
they charge less.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Now this bad boy, there's a lot of criticism for this. And I mean, I was just speaking to the director about this tool that when I was animal control, a lot of people would come in and ask if I recommended something like this. Honestly, I do in the right hands. It's not something the average person would come in, I would automatically deter them from wanting to use it because they would want to use it to look cool, or, surprisingly, they'd flip it out to try to make it look tough, which it's not. Basically, it's a training tool. If used correctly, it gets the job done. It should only be used for short periods of time, but you're the professional. How often?
I use those for motivation too. Like when you're teaching a dog, you want to build confidence and acquire focus. You pop, pop, pop to get them to look. It just pokes.
Yeah.
It doesn't poke a hole through them. Like
Yeah, no, it's
these
not
are
pointy
so
at all.
safe, and
A lot of people,
don't
yeah, a lot of people
understand
question
that.
that. They think it's sharp.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean,
They can be used to correct. If you have a dog that you have a situation where you just need that one time pop done correctly under the advice of a trainer who knows what they're doing.
Right.
It's you'll probably only have to use it once if you use it right.
Right. No, I see people walking up and down the street like this is the actual collar that's used all the time.
No, I don't suggest it, because if you can't control your dog, then you really shouldn't be out walking your dog. So again, the key is training, teaching.
Now the choke collar,
Yeah, the old time choke collar.
not as popular as it used to be.
No, not at all. And again, like people, they get upset because they think it hurts the dog, but it really doesn't. It really doesn't. But like, you're supposed to use it a certain way, and actually, I always tell everybody, put it on like a P. Like, did you know that?
Oh no, I didn't. No,
Yes,
I
that's
just.
the way you're supposed to put it on the dog, because that's
You wanna
how
pull
it
down.
works, and you have
And
the
you pull down.
best.
I think the issue with it is that a lot of people, I've seen from my experience as an animal control officer, people actually grabbing smaller dogs with it and pulling the dog up and choking the dog. And again, that's why my father, this was popular back
Yes.
during that time period in the 70s. This is what they used often. And again, my father used it as a training tool, somewhat. But again, people who'd come in and ask me, I would automatically just deter them. And, you don't want to use it. You don't want to use it. It's just, both of these, they're tools, and if you really don't know how to use them, you really shouldn't.
Most pet homes, I highly suggest. I don't
morning.
even suggest the flat buckle. Just like the regular collar without the chain. Those are ridiculous. They come right off. They do nothing. There's no reason to have them. But the martingale, at least you can control the dog, and they can't slip out, and they're safe. So.
Now, this is the last thing you brought, which I thought this was fascinating. Even though you said there's not much to it, but I've never seen something like this.
It
looks like something really cool from Mad Max. What is this?
It is what we call a show lead, and it fits. This is actually for a puppy, a young dog. You slip their heads through, and it just kind of lifts up their chin, and it's.
So this actually goes right underneath the chin, not like
It goes
behind.
over the neck, but when they're pulling in the ring, it helps to lift their heads up.
Oh.
So when they're in the ring and you're calling them because they have to present themselves to the judges, it just helps lift their heads up a little bit with the little thing right there. And it's safe, and it's not used as a choke.
But this you can't really. I've never even seen this at a pet store.
No, that's from Germany. Like most things I do is through Germany, the products and.
So now, training. How long did you do training?
Oh, to this day. I actually had this natural ability. Once I was studying, I think I was watching a video, or one of the breeder of my first two German Shepherds, Barbara Lopez. I had called her one day because like I said, I was having an issue with one of the dogs, and we were talking about redirecting and not correcting. And then that's where